What's up, fam? Welcome to Minicast Monday, the short form podcast that brings inspiring and empowering information, messages, and sound bites from previous episodes to provide that spark or that fire for you to attack your life, to finally attack it, those fears, those insecurities, and those flaws, so that you can live the best life possible as the best version of yourself that you can possibly be.
And this week we listen back to a few clips from episode 30 with the one-armed real estate success, David Weir, to hear about how he was limiting himself and how he finally learnt to pump the positive.
Yeah, I was born with one arm. I have no left arm at all. My right arm is from the elbow down, is slightly shorter, and 2 fingers and a thumb. So socially, growing up with one arm, it was just, I don't know, I was just frustrated. And a part of that, I think, was also maybe I was becoming aware that other kids are getting the trophies at school.
Okay.
Even though I had 2 good legs, I was never a runner, so I never got anything for that.
Yeah.
I was always last. Or you got two teams. We're all going to go play sport, soccer, footy, whatever it is, and then you got to pick teams. Okay, well, I'll pick George, and I'll pick them, and I'll pick that, and there's Dave standing at the end of the line with the big, tall carrot top and the short, dumpy kid. Oh, okay, we're the kids that are left last. There's the rejection factor.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, great, no one loved me. Yeah, grade 5, grade 6, tantrum kid, kicking walls, arguing with mum, started to see a counsellor, social mum said, oh, I can't deal with this. And we were in a family church environment.
Yeah.
Got a counsellor because whatever
awesome.
was going on at school was... And I guess a lot of people around me trying to figure out, oh, the poor kid with one arm, yeah, he's got some issues there, look, he's struggling, we've got to try and help him through this. But moving along, we decided, well, maybe it was best I'd go off to a boys' home, and maybe they could just give mum a break, and so she wouldn't have a meltdown. So off to a boys' home I went for the next year, and it was these strangers around me. I've just been picked up and dropped in this environment that's like I'm in jail. You could sense that there's this authority there, and then you watch a couple of kids and they're getting lined up, man. They're like getting 6 of the best.
Shit.
Holy crap. Well, okay. I don't keep my mouth shut around here. A couple of us run amok in the dorm, and the big boss man walks in and wait, lines us all up. And I'm thinking, oh no, oh my God, he's going to pull the strap out. I'm going to get the strap. Oh my God. When you grow up with one arm and you can't go fist to fist with somebody,
Yeah.
you learn to navigate around them and get him to feel sorry for me and make allowances for me.
Yeah.
So here I am standing there. One kid puts his hand out, whack. Other hand, whack. Another hand, whack. Lines me up, and I just looked at him. And I probably had that little poor puppy, please love me look, and he's gone, put your hand out. This strap was the old school strap. It wasn't just like a strap that we use on our jeans. This is a strap, and it's about a centimetre thick of leather. This thing's going to hurt. It's going to come down weight. So I put my hand out, and he gave me a little whack. And it still stung, but he's probably looking at it thinking, oh, I like this little hand with a thumb and 2 fingers. I better not hit this too hard. I don't know. But so anyway, I had my little whack on the hand. It's like, oh wow. So, ow, that hurt. Oh no. Okay, consequence for my actions.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, I just got treated like everyone else.
That's cool.
I had to learn how to write. I said, your handwriting is crap. And I was going, well, I've only got a couple of fingers, thinking, don't be so hard on me.
Yeah.
So I'm so used to that, like you said, came out of get away with everything, to no, we're going to teach you to be a normal human being. We're going to teach you to be responsible. We're going to teach you there's parameters. We're going to teach you to discipline. And I remember the paper with 3 lines. So my whole life up to that point was so used to getting away with average.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. But the high school, got to the end of that, I did get my grades up. They weren't A's, but they were all intermediates and intermediate credit. So it proved that, well, maybe it wasn't dumb, and got through that. Now what? Oh, crap. Here's the real world. Got to get a job. What sort of job? Well, what can I do? Where kids are going in, we'll be a bricklayer, a carpenter, and they're going, well, you can't be a bricklayer in 2 arms, and well, you probably could, but... And so I remember someone saying, well, maybe you got to look at the the pension, because you got one arm, disability pension. We're going to put you on a pension because you're not capable. And I think this is the whole battle in life, is do you limit yourself? But if you carry that victim mentality, as hard as it is sometimes to face those things in life, I think we all have things in life. It's whether you were the tall kid, the kid with one arm or something. What I do know is every day we've got a choice.
Yeah.
Every day we've got a choice. And people say, oh man, you're so inspirational, you're so invincible, you're unstoppable. I said, well, I'm unstoppable because I get up every day. Doesn't mean every day's easy. I'll tell you right now, there's been days where I've sat on the side of the bed and cried. When you just think, oh my God, the world's coming to an end, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is all too hard. I got my affirmations I got stuck into recently again, which just flipped my whole attitude around within 3 days flat.
Yeah.
Because people say, how are you so motivated? I'm not always motivated. I'm human. I get blindsided by things. People let you down, people rip you off, people don't pay you back, or a multitude of things. My whole life, pretty much in those early days, is all about fighting against the current.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Japanese koi, where the koi is one of the strongest fishes that will swim against the current of life with determination and persistence without giving up. And then it gets to the end, and only the strongest will then leap, like a big leap of faith, up that waterfall, what they call Dragon's Gate, I think they call it. And then they evolve into the flying dragons.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and that's what a koi actually represents.
Oh, I've never known that.
Strength,
That's awesome.
determination, courage, and finally the attainment of goals.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there a couple of years later, married, and a friend of the family's is a multi-millionaire, very self-made, successful man, and I rang him up one day and I was sitting there over in, 2-bedroom home. Wife was at work and I was unemployed again, in between jobs. Just wasn't working out the last one. And still looking for allowances, was still flowing on with employers. But now it's in the real world, you've got to hit certain standards. I feel sorry for you, don't have a fat chance on that. So I rang Uncle Dennis up. He comes around in his $200,000 Mercedes. I got a $950 car. He's living in a big 4-bedroom. I'm living in a 2-bedroom. I'm thinking they're worlds apart. So I said, mate, what's the secret? He said, get a piece of paper. Drew a circle, put a plus on one side and minus on the other. He said, law of the universe. Pump the plus and just don't be negative. It'll all come back. Law of attraction. So I'm cruising around.
That's the coolest way I've heard it explained.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Draw a circle.
Pump the plus.
Pump the plus. Pump it hard. Feed the black dog, white dog. Which one are you feeding?
Yep.
That's where the discipline comes in. When you know what you should be doing and you do the easy thing, which is not the right thing.
So as you heard, as a young boy, he was aware that he was different, not just because of how he looked, but because of how he was treated, being chosen last for sports at school alongside the tall or the dumpy kid. Now throughout episode 30, he speaks about how he actually goes hard and fights for social acceptance, but although he did this continually, he also used it to what he thought was his advantage. He used it to get away with causing trouble at school and at home, not doing well with schoolwork, and then later on in life when he's working, still looking for allowances due to having one arm, frequently ending with him being unemployed. Now the problem with him looking for these little allowances is that he's literally instilling the belief in both himself and others that he's not capable of what everyone else is. And this is highlighted by the story of him looking for work, limiting his own options before he'd even attempted anything, and in turn he's told he should apply for the disability pension because that's the belief he's instilled in others as well. It's not until a few years later, after getting married, that he decides to find a way to become successful and, as he says, take a big chunk of the world for himself. Now this story of his uncle telling him to pump the plus or pump the positive literally changes the trajectory of David's life. He finally begins to see that he's been using his disability as an excuse, as a way to get away with being average, pumping a negative that was only keeping him unemployed and unsatisfied with his life. Since learning the law of attraction, David's turned having one arm into a positive, using it as his unique point of difference, now pumping what he used to use as a get out of jail free card as a one-of-a-kind marketing tool that's propelled him on to become a real estate success, or as he says, a one-armed real estate success. Now to give you another way to look at it, my barrier to entry with this podcast was literally the fear of people hearing my voice and either laughing at it or criticizing it.
because I thought I sounded like a fucking frog. Straight up, no lies. I thought I sounded like a frog, so I was too scared to publish any podcast for near on a year. That's craziness. But it wasn't until I flipped that negative, this fear of people judging and criticizing me, to a positive where I had to get my voice out there no matter how it sounded, because I needed to spread the message of vulnerability that Open Up is trying to share as we try and shift the stigma surrounding mental health. Now, in flipping that negative into this, plus all this positive that I began to pump, I started realizing that my voice was actually suited to podcast or radio, and I've had people tell me so over the last 8 or 9 months. Now, if I hadn't have flipped that negative and turned it into this positive and started pumping that sucker until I'm in the position I'm in now, I would have still been this guy dreaming of making a podcast, dreaming of helping people, rather than someone who's in a position now where they have a platform with the potential to go to America and achieve global reach with a high-level network with high-level influences. So my question to you is, what negative are you pumping and how is it limiting you? Like David, how can you take this negative, flip it, and begin to positively pump that sucker until you have the life you want? Because it's within reach. It's always been within reach. It's just up to you to pump that plus.